Hello, welcome to another crypto chart. I'm Fausto Botelho, broadcasting from Brazil, and today we're going to take a look in Bitcoin. Actually, I'm going to make an exercise and see what can happen in this bull market that we're entering. There's a bloodbath going on in all the alts, most of the alts. I want to show you Link, which is one of the alts that, although we made a recommendation for it and it produced a 12% negative percent change because it touched our stop in the following day. I still think Link may be one of the alts that may surprise everybody. And besides, there were many outs that were breaking support levels. With Bitcoin now holding up a little bit, it's a strong way up. Maybe we will see some of these coins reverting, and if that occurs in important support levels, we might have some bear traps. That's what I want to show you quickly. And of course, we're going to take a look in the S&P, which is topping apparently again for the fourth time. Maybe this is the one. Which one? Well, the one in which it will start, definitely. It's a bear market, which in my opinion will correct prices at least 30% in the beginning. I'll show you. Let's take a look in the charts though. First, I'm going to change to Terminal Enfoque here. Then I'm going to show you the charts. Check that I'm showing you the charts and then show you the S&P. Well, basically, this is the subprime, this is the dot-com bubble. No, not bubble necessarily. No? And this is the upward trend that we had since the subprime. Our thesis is that we think this upward movement, this bull market has been reversed. We have many reasons to believe that, and that we're going to have a Fibonacci correction. But before that, we have this very important support level here at 2,000, which we think is going to be achieved and tested. So here's what's happening with Bitcoin. Top number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And maybe it's going to be written in the books on the future that that Bitcoin pulled back and then double top it in order to make its final top and then start the bear market. Then who knows where it could stop. I'm forecasting that we could come to the first Fibonacci support level, and this would be a fall of 38% approximately. If we just come to 2,000, that would be 31%. And if that happens, the thing is, the world's going to lose a third of its wealth. Or the world's going to be a third less wealthier, less rich. And that is definitely going to cause a recession because everybody stops or starts pulling the brakes, and oil comes down, all the commodities comes down. So what should you do? Well, if I'm right, and we should take a look again in this chart because if I'm right, then first thing, of course, is get rid of stocks. And if you do, eventually you're going to be able to tell your kids or your grandkids that you went out some less than 3%, almost 2% away from the top. And that's something that only, the big guys can do, right? What if I'm wrong? Well, if I'm wrong, you let the market break the top, wait a little bit, hold your fire. Why? Because eventually it will break the top and produce a bull trap, which is the most important indication that I think technical analysis can give us. But eventually it won't. It will just come back, pull back to the former resistance line, which is the level where the tops are now. And then it will go up again, producing what we call a pivot point. And then whenever it breaks its top, eventually you can wait a little bit more for the market to flag up, or maybe you don't have to. Just in the first, whenever it breaks its first top, you enter the market. Let's make an exercise and see what are you going to lose if you follow that strategy. So back to the chart here. Let us suppose the market would do something like, let's evaluate a little bit here. Well, something like this, right? Or let me catch a line here. Something, let's say, like this. Okay? It does something like that, and then it will come down to the support level again, and then it will go up, and then you buy here. Okay? You buy here, and eventually you're going to put a stop right here, or you don't put a stop, you go back to your buy and hold position. Okay, so you sold here and you're going to buy back over there. That will be an astonishing loss of 3.6%. So you see my point? If I'm right, you're going to save what, 40%? Who knows where the market can come. And if I'm wrong, you're going to lose what, 5%? Let's put it up, 5, 10. What's the difference? And there's that plus that you will eventually be able to tell your grandkids that, you know, Grandpa has all the money that I have today because I followed a advice of a Mr. Brazilian that was telling me that, oh, yeah, okay, enough, right? So this is it. I think to end up, I think the S&P, it's extremely dangerous for you to inhabit it with a long position. But, you know, you have to decide. So back to the chart here, I just want to show you the Nasdaq. And, well, this definitely looks like a top. And if it's a top, then it's going to be number one, number two. And these, well, I have to remind you that my charts are all divided by CPI, deflated by the CPI index. So we also have this support trend line broken and especially a bull trap here, and the bulls showing us that they were unable to produce a new top. As Charles Dow used to write in his editorials in the Wall Street Journal back in 1901, 1902, whenever the bulls fail in producing a new high, it's yellow to red signal in terms of the bull market preceding it. So that's it for oh yes, you're asking me now. Someone is asking me. I can feel the question. What does it have to do with Bitcoin? Well, there's $28 trillion just in New York Stock Exchange. If the market starts going down, eventually people will withdraw money from the markets. And 1% of $28 trillion is more or less the market capital. It's even, actually, I became very curious to go in to go here in CoinMarketCap and see what's the market cap of the market with this upward movement of Bitcoin. Wow, $364 billion. That's the market cap of the markets. So, but you know, $28 billion is 1% of what's in New York Stock Exchange in terms of stocks. That it's easily seen in the net. Apparently, the world has $80 trillion, so 1% would be $800 billion, right? 10%, 8 trillion, 8%, 800 billion. So if 1% of the world, the money of the world that is in the stock comes for the cryptos, and let us remember that Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin for it to be a standard. That's my view, actually, at least, and for it to be similar to gold. So eventually, people will go to gold and silver, but will, you know, put some of their money in cryptos, because you know you can't leave a authoritarian country carrying a bag of gold. Well, eventually, because it weighs a lot, but you can't leave a country, any country, with $100 million carrying 12 words in your mind, or 24 words in your mind. 12 words better. 24 is a little harder, right? So let's take a look in Bitcoin now. Took me a long time here in the S&P, but I think this is probably, and I'm risking my credibility now. Now, technical analysts, they go with the market, you know, whatever the market is telling them. And what's the market telling me in terms of the S&P? Well, bulls are failing for the 4th time to produce a new top. Whenever they fail, you know, the bears are there in the woods holding their fire and calling for the bulls to come on, and hold your fire. And all of a sudden, there's lots of George Soros around the world. And, you know, eventually these guys are, you know, they're just anxious to sell and to short. So, well, that's it. So back to the charts. I'm showing you now a chart of Bitcoin. And I have produced this little snake here that I'm going to show you in a second. So, well, it definitely looks like in this weekly chart that Bitcoin is starting a new bull market. So where could it go? I've said many times here that we have some things to consider. I think this is the beginning of wave 3, right? So that would be wave 2, and we would be having here wave 1, 2, 3. So the last portion of wave 3 equals this percent change that I'm going to show you here. Right here, right? So what if Bitcoin produces us just the last portion of wave 3? What I think is wave 3. We would be heading to what? That's not what was in my mind. What was in my mind was to just this last portion here. Let me see, where do we get from here? Yeah, I was, you know, imagine it could produce as whatever it produced in 2017 and yeah, in 17. But no, just what it produced in the second semester of 2017, right? That's very conservative. $33,000. That's what it will get us. If it produces us what it did in 2017, then it would be much more than we would go to nearly $100,000. That would be $80,000. But if we produce a wave 3, which began in 2015, then we're talking about the possibility for Bitcoin to go to 300, is that right? $370,000. Now, when could that happen? So that's why I prepared this snake here. And this snake, well, I'm showing you a weekly chart, okay? This snake is what the market did in wave 3, okay? It fits perfectly here, see? So where would we be now in terms of if we would to compare? Well, of course, that's just an exercise of futurology. I don't know if that's a correct word, but you know, what do we have? I mean, I think Bitcoin, no, that doesn't necessarily works, right? So it's just something to compare. Okay, so back to the chart here. I'm going to put these here, and you see, no, that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit. I think that fits. And that fits over here. And if that fits over here, we could eventually imagine Bitcoin doing the last portion of this wave 3 here and reaching, wow, $100,000. Look at that. Nice, isn't it? And when would that be? Then I can pick the price cursor here and put it over there and see down here that it would reach there in the beginning, January 13, 2020, next year. So, as I said, just an exercise. The thing is, Bitcoin is in a bull market, and I'm very, very, very much bullish in Bitcoin. Does that mean I'm not going to trade? I'm just going to hold Bitcoin? No, I think in the Bitcoin standard, and for that, I am, yes, I think that, well, there's two paths for you to go. Eventually, you just hold, or you try to increase your Bitcoins. Isn't it going to, what, $300,000 or $100,000? So the idea is to try to increase Bitcoins, because, you know, for you to get, what, 12, how much is it now? $13,000, and for you to spare monthly $13,000 is not that easy, right? For you to buy a Bitcoin. So, well, whatever you may spare a month, monthly or weekly or whatever to increase the amount of Bitcoins that you have. So we try to trade, and to trade we enter the altcoins. But you know, you can increase the amount of Bitcoins you have, or you can decrease the amount of Bitcoins you have. Everybody that was in the well, 90%, I would say, most of the people that were trading altcoins did not do very well in the past week, because it was, as I said in the beginning, it was a bloodbath. But let's take a look at the 21st coins and see if there's anyone that could eventually start to outperform Bitcoin, which is what we're seeking, right? So back to the chart here. Am I showing the chart? Yes, I'm showing the chart. I'm going to delete this chart here. I'm going to organize my windows in alphabetic order. I'm going to put all my charts in daily chart. And here we go. Wow, Bitcoin Cash, kind of a drop, huh? 25%. from yesterday, and it's doing very well. It's just falling 7.3%. Nothing to say about that. And then we got Bitcoin Gold. Wow, another small drop. Well, it was 14. Now it's just 11. I'm talking to you at 8:32 p.m., which is we're 3 hours below Central. Below Greenwich. So then to say also, well, okay, Binance. I've said many times that I I think CZ is gonna dominate the world. Well, this is starting to look like a rectangle. Look at that. How about that? Yep, a rectangle that would continue the movement that preceded it. A continuation pattern, especially because it held in where it should. At least it's holding where it should, not before a drop of what, 33% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a week. Gee, that's a crash, almost a crash. But now it's better, just 28.8. So that's one of the coins to watch. If it produces us a reversal here in this important support level, we might see, because if it goes to the upper side of the rectangle, we're talking about 60%, 63% upward movement. Not bad, right? So keeping an eye on Binance, Bitcoin we said so far. And so what's up, Bitcoin? Whew. Now it's the daily chart. Well, it dropped a lot today since it reached $4,000. So Bitcoin's a 14er now, is it? 14ers. Maximum. That's in Binance. And that's in USDT, Binance, Bitcoin USDT in Binance, 13,970, almost 14. So far we talked about Cardano. Well, look at that. It just broke this very important support level, and it's, falling like a bag of potatoes. But that's the time you have to keep an eye on it, because if it gives us, we still have just 40 minutes before the close today, but anything can happen, right? Tomorrow, we might see, for instance, an engulf here that will be very bullish, because it had just broken a important support line. Whenever a reversal occurs after the market, or in this scenario, that might produce later on a bear trap, which is very bullish, of course. So now we're in Link that I talked about, you guys. Well, see, I like Link because it was launched, and then it went up, and then it held in a kind of an ascending triangle. Then it broke the resistance line here, and then it entered back, and then it double bottomed, and then it went up, broke this resistance trend line here, short-term trend line, pulled back, flagged up, and I think it's flagging up now. I definitely think it's flagging up. It felt like hell today, but it's recouping. And whatever, who knows where look at that. Wild oscillations. In the space of a day, it fell 30%, and then it went up 27%, and in the last hour, it is falling 8.5%. Jesus, well, that's super, right? Well, anyway, next one is Cosmos, too short to analyze. Dash was hitting hard, and it fell, right? So probably we're not going to have any reversals here. It's going to keep falling. EOS, EOS is approaching a very important support level. So let's take a look at what happens over here. Remembering that the last time it reached this level, it went up 140% in 1, 2, 3.5 months. Ethereum, oh my goodness. We're seeing the daily chart, and Ethereum is testing a very, very, very much important support level, right? First time it reached this level here, it went up by 431%. Let me change the exchange here for Bitfinex, which I think has more history than Binance. Yeah. So here we can see, wow, that's, well, it goes further in history. Look, because we got these stops here in 2016 happening in the same place. Technically, this is exactly the same place, right? So it broke this resistance line. It was doing well, but now it re-entered the resistance trend line. So, but we'll keep an eye to see what happens when it tests the support. Anything, if it comes down to this level here from the support, that would mean 41% upward movement. What am I doing here? Okay, now it's Litecoin. Oh, Litecoin just broke this support, important support level too. Let's see how far it goes. It goes far. Look, comes from here. Wow, it's very important. See, these bottoms here, these stops, accumulation, and tops and bottoms and so on. So it just broke the support level. Oh, it's ugly, huh? But let's see if it produces an engulfing or something. It will be telling us a lot. Oh, Monero, poor Monero. Monero accumulated in this kind of rectangle below the support trend line here, and then it came down, and then it produces a sort of a coil here, a symmetrical triangle, and now it just crashed in 2 days. Look at what it felt. We have 24, no more, 25% in 2 days. That's too much, right? But anyway, ciao Monero. It seems nobody's interested in hiding transactions anymore, or so far, or maybe they're doing it with some other coin, right? NEM is coming very close to the all-time low, so we'll keep an eye. And we have an inverted hammer here, kind of an inverted hammer. Maybe it can produce it will produce as a reversal candlestick formation. Now NEO, well, NEO's testing these. It made this low here, and then it sort of went up, and then this looks like a rectangle, but I don't know if that's a accumulation that will continue the previous movement here, or if that is an accumulation that will continue this previous movement here. Depends whether it will be able to break this resistance level or not. So keeping an eye on NEO too. Ripple, well, sorry, but you know, it just broke this very, very important support level. Hey, yeah, all our charts are in Bitcoin, right? As we said in the beginning, Ripple in Bitcoin. Many of the coins are going up, but who cares? I don't care. I have Bitcoin to be with, right? I want to trading. I want to be in coins that will eventually outperform Bitcoin, not underperform Bitcoin, right? So all the charts are in Bitcoin. So Ripple, well, either you produce as tomorrow Ripple. I won't wait anymore. People won't wait anymore. Either you produce as a reverse candlestick reversal tomorrow, or bye. Back to the chart. Oh no, here. Stellar. Wow. it's probably testing its all-time low. No reversals here. It's the second day after the support, after breaking support. Tezos is just break the support. That became a resistance. Eventually may produce a reversal there, right? Who knows? Tron. Well. You can see the importance of the support level. And Tron is right there. So what's going to happen? Don't miss the next chapter. Actually, I'm not going to be here in the next chapter because that's tomorrow. You have to follow that. You have to, if you're a trader, if you're willing to increase your Bitcoins. But if eventually we see something special, I might come in here again. So I think this is it. Or isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for being here until now. If you like the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. You know, YouTube likes that. And then it starts showing up. Whenever you have a lot of thumbs up, YouTube starts showing us. And please tell your friends about this old Brazilian guy here doing technical analysis. It's been a long time that I do it. And I with a lot of pleasure, I put all these experience to provide it to you. Eventually, one of these days, I will try to sell you a course here in the channel, which I'm starting to record now, first in Portuguese, and then in English. And maybe you could consider trying our product Enfoque calls crypto calls. And unfortunately only in Portuguese, but you know, it's nothing that you wouldn't understand because it's a pop-up or a sign that you receive in your phone via Instagram, Telegram, and then there's whenever it's blue, it's a long position, and most of them are long positions because we think that one should not leverage. So we don't trade in BitMEX. Well, we trade in Binance. And one last word, if you eventually open an account in Binance, don't forget to use the link here and help the channel. Okay? See you then. Ciao.